Hey everyone, welcome to Forge College. Today's explainer is modeling Solana data for MCPs. We're jumping right into our module on building custom model context protocols, or MCPs for short. This is all part of our wider course on AI-powered development workflows and custom MCPs on Solana, which anchors our Web 2 integration and API development track. So what are we doing today? We're learning how to turn messy, raw Solana blockchain bytes into neat, readable context for AI. If you've ever stared at raw on-chain data and felt like you were trying to read the matrix code without any training, you are in exactly the right place.
Okay, let's shift gears. Just in our previous lesson, we were deep in the weeds implementing non-transferable behavior and Solidity. Talk about developer whiplash, right? Going from Solidity over to Solana requires a completely different mindset. Today, our current challenge is all about bridging that unreadable Solana data to our custom MCPs. Because here's the thing. If you want an AI assistant to actually understand what is happening on Solana, you can't just hand it a raw, serialized byte array. We have to translate it into a language the AI can actually use.
Here's our blueprints for today's explainer. 1. From raw bytes to MCPs. 2. The data management schema. 3. Filing cabinets and lenses. 4. Real-world token examples. And 5. Next steps for implementation. Let's get right into it.
Section 1, from raw bytes to MCPs, bridging the gap.
So why do we absolutely need a data model before we even touch an MCP server endpoint? Well, imagine trying to read a textbook where all the spaces are removed and half the letters are numbers. That is exactly what a raw Solana account looks like to an AI model. Without a structured bridge, you literally just have a pile of meaningless bytes. That bridge is what we call the solana-data-management schema. It's the ultimate blueprint or contract between the blockchain's gibberish and your client. It dictates the named fields, the types, and the transformation rules. You really have to treat this schema as a strict contract. If you change it, your clients and the AI relying on it have to adapt their expectations. We absolutely need a way to say what gets published and exactly how those on-chain bytes map to that published surface.
Section 2, the data management schema, source, type, and projection.
What's really cool about this next part is how we mechanically break down the schema into 3 specific components. You can't just wave a magic wand over the blockchain to make it readable, right? You need a mechanical, repeatable process to define your data contract. Every schema requires these 3 pillars. First, source mapping. Where is this byte actually coming from? An account address offset, an instruction log. This ties the field directly to its on-chain origin. Second, type mapping. We have to translate Solana's serialized bytes, often using formats like Borscht, which, by the way, is just a highly compressed way Solana packs data, into queryable types like strings, integers, or timestamps. And third, projection rules. This handles the complex stuff, like calculating derived fields, say total liquidity minus reserve liquidity, or flattening out heavily nested objects so they're super easy for your AI to query.
Section 3, filing cabinets and lenses, 2 mental models.
I know this can sound a bit abstract right now, so to keep us grounded, let's use 2 mental models to visualize how we handle this data. Adopting these is going to save you a tremendous amount of frustration when you're designing your ingestion pipelines. Here's the first one. Think of your ingestion process like a meticulous clerk sorting physical files labeled by pub keys into a database. This neatly solves our storage and provenance needs. If you need to know exactly who owns a file or when it was updated, boom, it's written right there on the folder. It also makes handling missing data incredibly intuitive. A missing or uninitialized field on chain isn't some catastrophic 404 error that crashes your entire workflow. It's literally just an empty folder in your pabnet. Simple, right?
Then, for our second model, imagine the MCP server has a set of lenses for projection. Think of your endpoints as interchangeable lenses. Some are wide and computationally expensive, meaning you have to join multiple accounts to compute a derived field. Others are narrow and cheap, simply returning a few top-level attributes. And the best part? These lenses are completely reusable. Thinking in lenses clarifies a massive architectural trade-off. Do you pay the computational tax up front during ingestion, pre-computing a projection lens? Or do you wait and compute it lazily on demand when the AI actually asks for it? The lens you choose changes your server's entire cost structure and performance profile, so you gotta choose wisely.
Section 4, real-world token examples, field tests. Let's test these theories with a real-world application, just like the practical exercises you'd build in our advanced Web3 programs at Forge College. We're going to map out an SPL token account and then a hypothetical custom order book, just to see exactly how these schemas work in practice.
By mapping an SPL token account from raw byte offsets into queryable data, we can see exactly how we use a lens to derive the display amount. Notice that the raw amount comes straight from offset 64 as an integer, but the amount display is a derived field. Why does this matter? Well, if you just hand an AI the raw integer, it might confidently think someone is a multi-billionaire when they actually just have a standard token with 9 decimal places. The wider lens formats it safely for the client by applying the MIT decimals, completely avoiding that embarrassing AI hallucination.
And here's an order book summary. Notice how we use a narrow lens here to avoid pulling full raw blobs. Order books can be absolutely massive, right? Packed with gigantic vectors of price levels. Our schema shouldn't force the MCP server to return all of that bulk if it isn't explicitly needed. Instead, we just grab the best bid from level 0 and derive the total depth by simply counting the available price levels. It's lightweight, incredibly fast, and highly efficient for both your server and the AI model reading it.
This brilliantly illustrates our expected JSON response for that exact order book query. It's clean and immediately usable by an AI. But I really want you to pay special attention to that last updated slot. That is crucial provenance metadata, proving our data's freshness. This is absolutely critical. If an AI is generating trading insights or strategies, it must know exactly how old this data is. Letting an AI make financial decisions on 20-minute-old blockchain data is a recipe for disaster. That single field provides the context it needs to know if the data is stale or fresh.
Section 5. Next steps for implementation. Building the projection workflow. For our final section, let's break down the exact steps you need to follow to build out this projection workflow yourself. Consider this your repeatable playbook for any time you need to expose Solana data. By following these 5 steps, you can confidently turn complex on-chain layouts into a reliable model sketch ready for an MCP server. Step 1. Start by identifying what your client actually expects. What does the AI need to see? Then, Step 2. Find your filing cabinets by enumerating your on-chain sources. Step 3. Pick your specific transformation rules. Step 4. Decide on that crucial projection timing. Are you caching this up front or computing on the fly with lazy evaluation? And finally, Step 5. Never, ever forget to attach your provenance metadata.
So, what are the key takeaways from today's explainer? Treat your schemas as strict contracts. Always attach provenance data so your AI can actively trust the freshness of what it's reading. And use our mental models of cabinets and lenses to balance your computing costs. If you clearly define your source, type, and projection rules, you're setting up your own MCP server for absolute success.
So what unreadable blockchain data will you run through your own lenses next? How are you going to map your custom Solana programs into your next MCP model? Head over to forge.college to explore more Web3 topics and learn how to take these exact sketches and implement your minimal MCP server. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope you're feeling inspired to start building, and I will see you in the next one.